Red wine slaps across my white shirt before the man even lowers his glass. It splashes my chest, runs warm under the collar, and spatters the black access badge clipped to my jacket pocket. Wrong party, one of the executives says, loud enough for the table behind him, and the people near the piano go quiet just long enough to enjoy it. My badge is bent now, my shirt is ruined, and the room they need to impress before midnight is watching. They still don't know the $500 million deal on the top floor cannot move until I release the final approval token from my phone. A woman in a silver gown laughs first. Then two men beside her follow. Crystal chandeliers throw hard light across their teeth and glasses. The string quartet near the terrace keeps playing, but the music sounds thin now, stretched over the scrape of dress shoes and the wet drip landing from my cuff to the marble floor. The smell hits next. Cabernet. Oak. Something sweet underneath it. Expensive enough to be wasted on purpose. I take a linen napkin from a passing tray and press it to my shirt. The stain blooms wider. One of the younger assistants flinches like she wants to say something, then thinks better of it when Ethan Caldwell turns toward her. He is still holding the stem of the glass between two fingers, relaxed, smiling. Like public humiliation is just another language he speaks before dessert. I keep my breathing even. I am Marcus Reed. And right now I look exactly like what they want to see. A man in the wrong jacket, in the wrong room, standing too close to money. Ethan tilts his head at my shoes. Catering entrance is around back. That gets another round of laughter. I glance past him instead of answering. Through the crowd, beyond the mirrored bar, I can see a leather folio on the high table by the terrace doors. Their acquisition package. Blue tabs. Gold seal. The same seal glowing on the encrypted approval screen waiting on my phone in my inside pocket. A server rushes by with champagne flutes, clips the edge of a chair, and the whole tray tips. I catch it before the first glass falls. Thin stems rattle against my palm. The server stares at me, wide-eyed, and whispers, "Thank you, sir." Ethan hears the sir. His smile changes. Only a little, but I see it. "Interesting," says the woman in silver. She studies my face, then my badge, then the watch on my wrist. I move the tray back into the server's hands. "Careful," I say. My voice lands flat and calm. Wrong tone for a man who is supposed to be embarrassed. Ethan steps closer. I can smell his cologne now, sharp and clean over the wine. "You want to tell me whose guest you are?" he asks. Not a question, really. More like a hand on the back of the neck. Around us, conversations thin out. The quartet loses a measure and finds it again. Someone near the bar lifts a phone. Someone else lowers theirs when they realize this might become useful later. I slide the ruined napkin onto an empty tray. My phone vibrates once against my ribs. Then again. Then a third time. Urgent now. The executive with the silver cuff links checks his own screen and goes still. Across the room, a second phone lights up. Then a third. Ethan doesn't look yet. He is still waiting for me to answer him. So I finally do. "You should probably check your inbox," I say. He laughs at that. Then the woman in silver opens her email, and all the color leaves her face. That's when the room starts turning. The phones keep buzzing, one after another. Not loud, but constant, like something waking up under the surface. The woman in silver stares at her screen, then at me, then back at the screen again. Her lips part slightly, but no words come out. Ethan finally glances down at his own phone. Just a quick look. Then he looks again, longer this time. His smile fades, not all at once, but in pieces. The man with the cuff links shifts his weight. That cannot be right," he mutters, turning his phone so the others can see. I do not move. I let the silence build. It stretches across the room, pushing against the soft music, bending it. Someone near the bar stops mid-conversation. Another guest lowers his glass without drinking. The chandelier light feels colder now, sharper against the marble and glass. Ethan lifts his eyes back to me. Different now. Focused. Measuring. "Marcus Reed," he says slowly, reading it off the screen like. It does not belong in his mouth. I nod once. Nothing more. The assistant who almost spoke earlier takes a step back, like she has just realized where she is standing. Ethan's jaw tightens. "You are the approval authority?" he asks. Not loud. Not for the room. Just for me. I do not answer right away. My phone vibrates again. A message preview lights up the edge of the screen in my pocket. Final authorization required. I let it sit. Let him feel the space where the answer should be. You should read the rest, I say. His thumb scrolls. The motion is small, but I can see the shift in his shoulders. The woman in silver inhales sharply. He controls the release, she whispers, too close to a gasp. That word lands. Release. The entire deal is waiting on that one point. A single step they cannot take without me. Ethan looks up again, and this time there is no smile left. Why are you here, he asks. It sounds like a question, but there is something else under it. Calculation. Risk. I glance toward the terrace doors. The leather folio is still there. Untouched. Waiting. You invited the fund, I say. I came with it. A beat. Then another. The quartet reaches the end of a phrase and pauses before starting the next. The silence in that gap feels louder than the music. Ethan exhales through his nose. Slow. Controlled. This is a misunderstanding, he says, turning slightly so the nearest executives can hear. We are all on the same side here. The man with the cuff links nods too quickly. Of course. Absolutely. Their tone has changed. Softer now. Careful. Like stepping onto thin ice. I look down at my shirt. The wine has spread further. The stain is darker at the edges. It will not come out. You threw the glass, I say. Simple. Flat. No accusation. Just fact. Ethan glances at the empty stem in his hand. He sets it down on a passing tray without looking at it. That was unnecessary, he says, choosing each word. The woman in silver steps closer. We can fix this, she says quietly. Dry cleaning, compensation, whatever you need. I meet her eyes. You cannot clean this, I say. Not about the shirt. She understands that. I can see it in the way she looks away first. Across the room, two more phones light up at the same time. Someone curses under their breath. A notification tone repeats from a pocket nearby. Then another. The network is catching up. The information is spreading. The deal is not just paused. It is exposed. Ethan straightens his jacket. He tries to reclaim the space, the posture, the control. Let us step somewhere private, he says. We should not conduct business in the middle of a party. I glance around the room. The eyes. The phones. The silence pretending to be conversation. You already did, I reply. That lands harder than anything else so far. The assistant by the bar swallows and looks down at her shoes. The server who dropped the tray earlier stands frozen, watching like she is afraid to breathe too loudly. Ethan takes one step closer to me. Not aggressive. Not friendly. Something in between. What do you want, he asks. Direct now. No performance. I let the question sit. Let the room lean into it. My phone vibrates again. Longer this time. I pull it out slowly. The screen lights up my hand. Final authorization timer. 4:58. The countdown has started. I tilt the screen just enough for Ethan to see the number drop. For minutes. 57 seconds. His eyes lock onto it. The entire room feels that shift, even if they cannot see the screen. Time is no longer theirs. It belongs to the clock in my hand. I slide the phone back into my pocket. You are running out of time, I say quietly. No anger. No urgency. Just truth. Ethan looks at the terrace. Then back at me. Then at the executives around him. The room is no longer his. Not tonight. Not like this. He inhales once, deep, like he is about to make a decision he cannot take back. Then he says my name again, softer this time. Marcus. And that is when the doors to the terrace begin to open. The terrace doors slide open with a soft mechanical hiss, and cool night air spills into the room, cutting through the warmth of perfume and wine. Heads turn. Conversations pause again, this time longer. A man in a dark suit steps inside, holding a tablet flat against his palm like it carries weight. He does not look at Ethan first. He looks at me. That is enough. The distance between us closes in a few steady steps. His shoes make no sound on the marble, but every eye follows him. He stops at my side, not in front of me, not behind me. Beside me. Sir, he says quietly, and tilts the tablet just enough for me to see. A list of confirmations scrolls across the screen. Names. Numbers. Locked fields waiting on one last input. The countdown in my pocket vibrates again. Short. Urgent. I nod once. The man turns slightly so the others can see the edge of the display. Not the details. Just enough to confirm it is real. The woman in silver exhales, slow and controlled, but her hands tighten around her clutch. Ethan's gaze flicks from the tablet to my face. He recalculates. I can see it happening. We should talk, he says again, But this time there is no command in it. Only need. I glance at the terrace beyond him. City lights stretch out in clean lines, sharp against the dark. Traffic moves in steady streams far below, unaware of the room above it shifting in silence. You wanted a private space, I say. You have one. I step forward. Not past him. Through the opening he created when he stopped trying to block my path. The night air hits the damp fabric on my chest. It cools fast, tightening against my skin. The stain looks darker under the terrace lights. The man with the tablet follows. 2 steps behind. Close enough to respond. Far enough to let me lead. Ethan hesitates for half a second. Then he comes after us. The others stay near the door, watching, not speaking. The glass panels slide shut behind us. The music fades. The sound of the city replaces it. Lower. Constant. Real. Ethan stops a few feet away. Not too close. Not too far. He studies me like he is trying to find the version of this moment where he still has control. You could have said something earlier, he says. It lands wrong. Even he hears it. I rest my hands lightly on the metal railing. It is cool under my fingers. Solid. Grounded. You could have asked, I reply. Simple. He nods once, like he is accepting a correction he cannot argue with. The man with the tablet clears his throat quietly. Timer is at 3 minutes, 42 seconds. He says. The number hangs there. Not dramatic. Just precise. Ethan glances at his watch, then back at me. We have partners waiting, he says. Boards. Investors. This delay affects more than just this room. I look out over the city again. Lines of headlights move like signals across a circuit. You said that inside, I answer. Before the wine. He presses his lips together. The woman in silver steps out onto the terrace now, slower than before, careful with her heels on the stone floor. She keeps her distance, but stays within earshot. Smart. Listening matters now. Ethan takes a breath. Deeper this time. What do you need to move forward, he asks. No ego. No performance. Just the question. I let the wind move between us for a second. It lifts the edge of his jacket. It dries the last of the wine on my sleeve. Respect would have been a good start, I say. He nods again. Immediate. You have it, he says. Too fast. Too easy. The woman in silver closes her eyes briefly. She knows that answer is not enough. I shift my weight slightly and turn back toward them. Respect is not something you say after. I continue. It is something you show before. The tablet hums softly as the man adjusts his grip. Another vibration from my pocket. Longer this time. The timer is moving faster now. Or it feels like it. Ethan steps closer. 1 step. Controlled. Then let us fix what we can, he says. Terms. Conditions. Whatever adjustments are necessary. There it is. The opening. Not wide, but real. I study him for a moment. The light from the terrace catches the side of his face, sharper than before. Less polished. More honest. Or at least closer to it. You built this deal to protect yourselves, I say. Layered exits. Deferred liabilities. Clean breaks. His eyes flicker. He did not expect that level of detail. The woman in silver looks at him, then back at me. You read it, she says softly. I hold her gaze. I wrote parts of it, I answer. That lands deeper than the email did. The silence that follows is heavier. Fuller. Ethan exhales slowly. Not in defeat. In acceptance. Then you know where it bends, he says. I nod once. I know where it breaks. The tablet shifts. Slightly in the man's hands. The screen refreshes. A new line appears. Conditional override available. The words glow faintly. Ethan sees it. So does the woman in silver. Neither of them speaks. Not yet. I let the moment sit. Let the weight of that option settle into the space between us. Then I reach into my pocket and pull out my phone again. The timer reads 2 minutes, 11 seconds. The numbers continue to fall. I tilt the screen just enough for them to see. Then I look back up at Ethan. We are not done yet, I say quietly. The wind shifts harder across the terrace, tugging at jackets and dresses, carrying the low hum of traffic up from the street below. My phone screen dims for a second, then lights again as the timer drops to 1 minute and 58 seconds. Ethan watches the numbers like they might slow if he stares long enough. They do not. The man with the tablet adjusts his grip and angles the screen toward me again. The line for conditional override is still there, waiting, pulsing faintly like it knows it matters. The woman in silver steps closer, her heels clicking once against the stone before she stops. Close enough now to be part of the decision. What does override change? She asks, her voice steady but lower than before. I glance at the tablet, then back at her. Control, I say. One word. Clear. It lands between them. Ethan shifts his stance, squaring his shoulders as if that might bring back some of what he lost inside. You already have control, he says. This entire thing stops without you. I nod slightly. Stopping is easy, I reply. Building something that does not collapse later is harder. The wind lifts the edge of the folio, still visible through the glass behind us. Inside, the room remains frozen in place, people pretending to talk while watching the terrace through reflections. Ethan follows my glance, then looks back at me. Tell me what breaks, he says. Direct again. No space for performance now. I hold his gaze for a second, then step closer to the tablet. The man beside me tilts it up. Lines of text scroll into view. Clauses. Subclauses. Clean language hiding sharp edges. I tap one section lightly with my finger. Here, I say. Delayed liability transfer. You push risk downstream after 12 months. Ethan's eyes narrow. He knows the line. He wrote it. The woman in silver inhales quietly. Standard protection, she says. Standard for you. I answer. Not for the people you pass it to. The assistant inside the room presses closer to the glass now, trying to hear without being seen. Her reflection trembles against the lights. My phone vibrates again. The timer drops to 1 minute and 12 seconds. The rhythm of it starts to match the pulse in the room. Faster. Tighter. Ethan runs a hand across his jaw. We can adjust that, he says. Shift the timeline. Share the exposure. He is moving now. Not resisting. Adapting. The woman in silver nods once, already calculating. 50-50 after 12 months, she adds. Full transparency on the risk chain. I look at both of them, then back at the tablet. The override line flickers once, like it is waiting for confirmation. Not enough, I say. Quiet. Firm. The wind picks up again, stronger this time, pressing my shirt against my chest. The stain has dried into a dark shape that will not fade. Ethan exhales slowly. Then what, he asks. No frustration. Just urgency. I tap another section on the screen. Exit clause, I say. You built it to let you walk away clean if projections drop below target. The man with the tablet scrolls. The clause appears. Clean. Polished. Dangerous. The woman in silver closes her eyes for half a second. She already knows where this is going. You want to remove it, she says. I shake my head slightly. No, I reply. I want to match it. Ethan's eyes flick up. Match it how? I let the silence hold for a beat. Let the numbers fall again. 56 seconds. If you can exit, I say, they can exit. The words land heavier than before. Not just a change. A shift in power. The assistant inside the room covers her mouth. Someone behind her leans closer to see the terrace more clearly. Ethan looks past me for a moment, out over the city, like he is measuring the cost against the distance. That changes the entire structure, he says. Not a protest. A fact. I nod. So does respect, I answer. The woman in silver steps forward 1 more inch. If we agree, she says, you release approval? My phone vibrates again. 43 seconds. I pull it out slowly and hold it where they can both see. The countdown does not stop. It does not wait. If you agree, I say, I consider it. Ethan lets out a short breath. Not quite a laugh. Not quite relief. Something in between. He looks at the woman in silver. She meets his eyes. No hesitation this time. Just a decision forming. He nods once. Small. Final. Drafted, he says to the man with the tablet. Now. Fingers move across the screen. Fast. Precise. Lines shift. Clauses adjust. The override field brightens. The system recognizes the change. The room behind the glass leans forward as one. The music inside has stopped completely now. No one pretends anymore. The city hum grows louder in the silence. My phone vibrates again. 21 seconds. The numbers fall faster now. Or maybe it just feels that way. The man with the tablet turns it toward me. Ready for confirmation, he says. The words are quiet, but they carry weight. I look at the screen, then at Ethan, then at the woman in silver. The wind dies down for a moment, leaving the air still. Waiting. I lift my thumb toward the phone, then stop just short of the screen, and I let the silence stretch 1 second longer. My thumb hovers a fraction above the screen as the timer drops to 19 seconds, then 18, the numbers sharp and unforgiving in the glow of my phone. No one speaks. Not Ethan. Not the woman in silver. Not even the man holding the tablet. The city hum seems louder now, like it is pressing upward, filling the silence they cannot break. I lower my hand slightly, not touching the screen, just enough to make Ethan shift his weight again. He notices every inch of movement now. That is new. Is it correct? I ask, my voice even. The man with the tablet nods quickly. All changes applied. Shared liability, mirrored exit, full disclosure chain. His finger taps the edge of the screen once, almost like he is reassuring himself it is still real. The woman in silver leans closer, scanning the lines. Her eyes move fast, practiced. She is not just reading. She is verifying. It holds, she says after a second. It holds on both sides. Ethan exhales, a small release of tension, but it does not leave his shoulders completely. Not yet. He looks at me again, searching for something else. Approval is not enough anymore. Not after what happened inside. My phone vibrates again. 14 seconds. The wind brushes past us, lighter now. Almost careful, like the moment itself does not want to break. I tilt the phone slightly, watching the numbers drop. 13. 12. The man with the tablet swallows, his throat moving visibly. He is not used to being this close to the edge of a decision like this. Ethan steps half a pace forward, then stops himself. Marcus, he says, quieter now. Not a command. Not a negotiation. Something closer to acknowledgment. I glance at him, then back at the screen. 11 seconds. You understand what this does? He continues. It changes how we operate moving forward. I nod once. That is the point, I say. Simple. The woman in silver straightens slightly, her posture shifting from defense to acceptance. She is already adapting to the new structure. She knows survival is in movement, not resistance. My thumb lifts again. 10 seconds. 9. I let it hover there, just long enough for the room behind the glass to lean in without realizing they are doing it. I can feel their attention through the reflection. Every eye, every breath. Waiting. The assistant inside presses her hand lightly against the glass, like she can somehow feel the outcome before it happens. 8 seconds. Ethan does not look away now. He holds my gaze. No smile. No mask. Just presence. That matters more than anything he said earlier. 7 seconds. The man with the tablet shifts again. System will auto-cancel at 0, he says quietly. Not a warning. A fact. I nod slightly. I know. 6 seconds. The numbers fall faster now, or maybe time just feels tighter. I lower my thumb closer to the screen. Close enough to commit. Not yet touching. 5 seconds. The wind stops completely. The air stills around us. Even the city below feels distant for a moment. For seconds. The woman in silver inhales slowly, controlled. She does not rush it. She lets it out just as steady. 3 seconds. Ethan's jaw tightens, but he does not speak. He does not interrupt. That restraint is new. 2 seconds. I press my thumb down. The screen flashes once. Bright. Clean. Confirmation sent. The tablet hums in response, a soft vibration passing through the man's hand. He looks down at it immediately. The override line disappears, replaced by a single word. Active. The shift is instant. Phones inside the room light up again. Not with alerts. With confirmations. The assistant by the glass drops her hand, eyes wide, then looks around like she needs to anchor herself back in the room. The music does not come back yet. No one moves to restart it. The moment is too fresh. Too real. I lower my hand and slip the phone back into my pocket. The weight of it feels different now. Lighter. Or maybe just quieter. Ethan exhales fully this time. The tension leaves his shoulders in a slow release. He nods once, not to the room, not to the others, but to me. It is done, he says. I glance at the city again. The traffic continues. Lights move. Nothing down there knows what just shifted above it. The woman in silver closes the folio on the table behind the glass, even though she is still on the terrace. Habit. Control. She is already resetting the narrative in her head. The man with the tablet steps back slightly, giving space again. His role is complete for now. Ethan looks at my shirt, at the dried stain, then back at my face. We will make this right, he says. Not about the deal. About the moment before it. I hold his gaze for a second. Then I glance down at the stain myself. It has settled into the fabric completely. It will not wash out. Some things do not reset. I say quietly. The words sit between us. Not heavy, just true. Behind the glass, someone finally reaches for the music again. A soft note returns, tentative, like the room is learning how to breathe again. I turn slightly toward the terrace exit, the cool air brushing against my sleeve as I move. And that is when a new notification lights up my phone again. The notification lights up my phone before I take the next step, a sharp, white glow cutting through the dim terrace light. I pause. Not long, just enough to feel it. The room behind the glass shifts again, like the moment refuses to settle. Ethan notices. Of course he does. His eyes drop to my pocket, then back to my face. Another issue? He asks. Careful tone. No edge. I slide the phone out slowly. The screen is already open. A new message sits at the top. Urgent review required. Below it, a file attachment icon pulses faintly. The name is short. Too clean. Revision 7B. I do not open it yet. I let the weight of it hang between us. The man with the tablet leans in slightly, trying to read without asking. The woman in silver does not move. She watches my eyes instead. Smarter approach. I tap the screen once. The file opens. Lines of text scroll into view. Not the same format as before. This is not the final contract. This is internal. Draft language. Hidden layers. My thumb moves down slowly. Section headers. Embedded clauses. Something shifts halfway through. I stop. The wind brushes past again, lighter, almost cautious. What is it? Ethan asks. He cannot help it now. I turn the screen slightly toward him. Not enough to read everything. Just enough to show the section title. Contingent Restructure Protocol. His expression tightens. The woman in silver steps closer without thinking. That was not part of the executed version, she says quickly. Too quickly. I look at her. Then back at the screen. No, I reply. It was not. My voice stays even. The man with the tablet shifts again. Should I pull the system copy? He asks. I shake my head once. This is not in the system copy, I say. The words land slower this time. He understands. This lives somewhere else. Ethan's jaw sets again, but different now. Not arrogance. Not control. Something closer to concern. Where did you get that? He asks. I scroll further. The clause expands. Subsections unfold beneath it. Preloaded triggers. Deferred actions. A mechanism that activates only under certain conditions. Not illegal. Not exactly. But not disclosed. Not to the side that now shares the risk. I let out a slow breath. Same place your investors will. I answer. That lands harder than anything before. The woman in silver looks at Ethan. Not for guidance. For confirmation. He does not give it. He looks at the screen instead. That protocol is defensive, he says. It is not meant to be used unless. I lift a hand slightly. Not to stop him. Just enough to shift the rhythm. Unless projections fail, I finish. He does not deny it. The city hum rises again, filling the space where the music has not fully returned. Inside, people start to move again, but slower now. Watching the terrace in pieces. Reflections. Glances. The assistant near the glass looks down at her phone, then back up. Information is spreading again. Not the same as before. This is quieter. Deeper. My thumb taps the screen once more. The clause highlights. This stays hidden, I say, until it activates. The man with the tablet exhales under his breath. The woman in silver closes her eyes for half a second, then opens them. Focused. Calculating. Ethan looks out over the city again. Just for a moment. Then back at me. What do you want? He asks. Same question. Different weight. I turn the phone toward him fully this time. Let him read it. All of it. He takes a step closer. His eyes move across the lines. Slower now. Careful. He is not scanning. He is absorbing. The woman in silver leans in beside him. Their shoulders almost touch, but not quite. The man with the tablet steps back, giving them space. The wind shifts again, lifting the edge of my jacket. The stain on my shirt catches the terrace light. Still there. Still sharp. Ethan finishes reading. He does not look up immediately. He takes a breath first. Then another. This was not meant to be triggered under shared structure, he says finally. I nod once. But it can be, I reply. The silence that follows is different from before. Not tension. Not shock. Recognition. The room inside feels farther away now. Like it belongs to a different moment. The assistant by the glass turns away, speaking quietly to someone behind her. Phones light again. Not alarms. Messages. Quiet updates. Ethan lifts his head. His eyes meet mine. No mask now. No performance left. If we remove it, he says, we lose a layer of protection. I tilt my head slightly. You said. We are on the same side. I remind him. The woman in silver exhales slowly. She already sees the answer. Ethan does too. He just needs a second longer to accept it. My phone dims again, then brightens as another notification appears under the open file. Investor inquiry received. The timing is precise. Too precise. I lock the screen and slide the phone back into my pocket. The weight returns. Heavier this time. I look at Ethan, then at the woman in silver, then back toward the glass doors. The room is moving again, but not the same way. Not like before. We are not finished, I say quietly, and I take a step toward the door. I push the glass door open and step back inside, and the room does not return to normal. It pretends to, but I can see the seams. Conversations restart in fragments. Glasses lift, then stop halfway. Eyes track me through reflections instead of turning directly. The music resumes, but softer, like it is asking permission now. The stain on my shirt catches the chandelier light again as I move past the bar. No one laughs this time. Not even quietly. Ethan follows 2 steps behind. The woman in silver walks beside him, her posture sharper now, focused. The man with the tablet stays near the door, watching the room instead of the screen. That tells me enough. This is no longer just about the contract. I slow near the high table where the folio rests. It is still closed. Still untouched since before everything shifted. I place my hand on it, not opening it yet. The leather is cool, smooth, controlled, like everything in this room used to feel. We need to address the protocol, the woman in silver says, her voice low but firm. She is not hiding it anymore. That changes the room. A man near the bar turns slightly. A couple by the window stop mid-sentence. Information moves faster when it is spoken out loud. Ethan nods once. We remove it, he says. Direct. No hesitation this time. That gets attention. The assistant near the glass looks up again, eyes widening just enough. I do not open the folio. Not yet. You cannot remove something that was never disclosed, I say. My voice carries just enough to reach the edges of the nearest group. The words, land. People hear them even if they do not understand the full meaning. That is enough. The man with the cuff links steps closer, cautious. Is there a problem? He asks, but he already knows there is. He just needs to hear it. I slide the folio an inch across the table. The sound is soft, but it cuts through the music. There is a second layer in your structure, I say. Hidden. The word hangs there. Simple. Heavy. The woman in silver turns toward the man with the cuff links. It is being reviewed, she says quickly, controlling the narrative. But the word hidden has already done its work. The room tightens again. Not with shock this time. With awareness. Ethan steps closer to the table. We are correcting it, he adds. His tone is steady, but I can hear the effort behind it. He is not speaking to me now. He is speaking to everyone else. That matters. I finally open the folio. Pages shift under the light. Clean. Structured. Polished. I flip to the section we just modified. The new clauses sit there. Fresh. Balanced. But the hidden protocol is not here. Of course it is not. I let the page rest open. This is what they will see, I say. Then I tap the closed edge of the folio lightly. And this is what they will not. A few heads turn fully now. No more pretending. The man with the cuff links glances at Ethan, then at the woman in silver. He is no longer certain where to stand. That is new. Ethan does not look away this time. We will disclose it, he says. The words are clear. No room to soften them. The woman in silver blinks once. A small reaction. But I see it. Disclosure is not a small adjustment. It changes everything. The assistant near the glass takes a step forward, like she is trying to hear better, but stops herself before crossing the line. I close the folio gently. Not will, I say. Now. The difference lands harder than the word itself. Timing matters. The room feels it. Ethan exhales slowly. He looks around the room. Not at me. At them. The people who came here expecting one version of the night. The version where everything was already decided. Everyone, he says, raising his voice just enough. The music falters again, then stops completely. This time on purpose. Heads turn. Full attention now. No hiding behind reflections. There is an update to the structure we need to address, he continues. His voice holds. Not perfect, but steady enough. The woman in silver steps forward beside him. She does not interrupt. She supports the shift. That matters too. I stand still. I do not move closer. I do not step back. I let him take it. The man with the cuff links looks between us, then folds his arms slowly. Waiting. The assistant lowers her phone, watching directly now. Ethan glances at me once. Quick. Then back to the room. A contingent protocol was included in earlier drafts that was not part of the executed version, he says. Clean language. Controlled. But the meaning is clear. A ripple moves through the room. Not loud. Not chaotic. Just enough to change the air. The woman in silver adds, "It will be disclosed and addressed immediately." Her voice is precise. Sharp. No hesitation now. That locks it in. The room absorbs it. The narrative shifts again. I watch their faces. Some confused. Some calculating. Some already adjusting their expectations. That is how power moves. Quietly. Then all at once. My phone vibrates again in my pocket. A steady pulse this time. Not urgent. Not panicked. Confirmed. I slide it out just enough to see the screen. Investor response received. The timing is exact. I look back up at Ethan. Then at the woman in silver. Then at the room. The air feels different now. Not lighter. Just clearer. The line has been crossed. And there is no step back from this one. The room does not explode into noise. It tightens. Conversations do not return. They shift into whispers, low and controlled, like everyone is choosing their words more carefully now. I feel the change in the air before I see it. Phones lift again, but not for photos this time. For messages. For confirmations. For quiet exits that have not happened yet. Ethan stands at the center of it, holding the space he just changed. Not commanding it. Holding it. That is different. The woman in silver does not step back. She stays beside him, her eyes scanning the room, tracking reactions the way traders track. Numbers. The man with the cuff links lowers his arms slowly, unfolding them like he is reconsidering something he thought was settled. I rest my hand lightly on the closed folio. It stays where it is. No one reaches for it. Not now. Not after what was said. My phone vibrates once more in my hand. Not urgent. Not sharp. Steady. I glance down. The investor response has expanded. A second line appears under it. Review requested. Full disclosure required before final sign-off. The wording is clean. Formal. But the meaning is direct. They heard. They are responding. I tilt the screen slightly, just enough for Ethan to catch the change. He sees it. His jaw shifts again, but not in resistance. In recognition. They are already asking, he says quietly. Not to the room. To me. I nod once. They always do, I reply. The woman in silver leans in slightly, reading the edge of the screen without asking. Her eyes sharpen. We need to move fast, she says. Before interpretation turns into speculation. Smart. She knows the gap between information and narrative is where things break. Ethan turns to the room again, not raising his voice this time, just enough to carry. We will provide full documentation within the hour, he says. That lands differently than before. It is not just control now. It is accountability. The room absorbs it. Some nod. Some do not. But no one laughs. Not anymore. I slide the phone back into my pocket. The weight of it settles again. Familiar now. The assistant near the glass takes a step forward, then another. This time she does not stop herself. Will this delay the closing? She asks. Her voice is careful, but it carries. People turn toward her. Not annoyed. Curious. That matters. Ethan looks at her for a second. Then at me. Then back at the room. He does not answer immediately. That pause is honest. The woman in silver fills it. It will adjust the timeline, she says. Not stop it. Clean. Controlled. But not dismissive. The assistant nods slowly, like she is trying to understand where she fits in this new version of the night. I watch the edges of the room. The way people shift. The way they stand closer together or step slightly apart. Power is moving. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just enough to change how they see each other. The man with the cuff links steps closer again, but this time his posture is different. Less guarded. More open. What happens if the disclosure changes valuation? He asks. A real question now. Not a challenge. I meet his eyes. Then the valuation was never real, I say. The words land clean. No edge. Just truth. He nods once. Slow. Thoughtful. The woman in silver watches that exchange carefully. She files it away. I can see it. Ethan turns slightly toward me again. You stayed, he says. Not a question. A statement. I glance at him. For the structure. I answer. He nods. He understands what that means. Not for the room. Not for the deal alone. For what it becomes after. The music returns again, softer, steadier this time. Not trying to fill the silence. Just existing alongside it. A server passes by with a fresh tray of glasses. No one reaches for them immediately. That is new. I slide the folio another inch across the table, closer to Ethan. He looks at it, then at me. It is yours now, I say. He hesitates for half a second, then places his hand on it. Not gripping, just resting, feeling the weight. The woman in silver does the same, her fingers brushing the edge. Shared control. Visible. Intentional. The man with the tablet steps closer again, ready, but waiting. He does not move until he is asked. That is the difference now. No one assumes. My phone vibrates again. I do not check it right away. I let the moment hold. Let them feel the shift settle into place. Then I pull it out slowly. A new message sits at the top. Board escalation initiated. The words are simple, but they carry farther than the room. I look up. The city lights reflect in the glass behind them, sharp and endless. Ethan sees the change in my face before I speak. The woman in silver follows his gaze. The room feels smaller now. Not because it is. Because the decision just moved beyond it. I turn the screen slightly, so they can both see. No need to explain. They read it themselves. Ethan exhales once. The woman in silver straightens. The man with the cuff links looks between us, then toward the rest of the room. The assistant lowers her eyes to the floor, then back up again. Everyone feels it, even if they do not understand it yet. This is no longer contained. I slide the phone back into my pocket and look at Ethan, then at the woman in silver, then at the door. Now it gets bigger, I say quietly. The word bigger does not echo, but it spreads. I can see it in the way shoulders tighten, in the way people stop pretending they are not listening. The room does not belong to the party anymore. It belongs to what comes next. Ethan does not argue. He does not question it. He just nods once, slow, like he already feels the shift moving past him. The woman in silver turns her head slightly, scanning the exits, the corners, the people who will carry this story out of the room before the hour ends. The man with the cuff links adjusts his stance again, but this time he does not move closer. He stays where he is, thinking. That is new. My phone vibrates once more in my pocket. Not sharp, not urgent, consistent. I pull it out and check the screen. The board escalation has expanded. Names appear now. Initials. Senior partners. Decision layers stacking above the room. A new line forms under them. Live review session requested. I let that sit for a second. Then I tilt the screen toward Ethan and the woman in silver. They read it. No reaction at first. Then a subtle shift. The kind you only see if you are looking for it. They want in now, Ethan says quietly. I nod once. They always do, I reply. The woman in silver exhales slowly, but not in frustration. In preparation. We cannot delay that, she says. If we stall, it looks like we are hiding something. She's right. The room feels that too, even if they do not hear the words. The assistant near the glass steps forward again, closer than before. She is not part of this level, but she knows it matters. Everyone knows. Ethan looks around the room once more. Not searching, measuring. Then he makes a decision. Clear the center, he says, not loud, but firm enough. The man with the tablet moves first. He steps into the space, gesturing quietly. People shift back. Not rushed, not chaotic, just enough to open a line of sight. The high table becomes the center again. Not for drinks, for something else. I stay where I am for a moment, watching the space reshape itself. Then I step forward. The woman in silver moves with me. Ethan follows. The folio stays on the table, but now it looks different. Not like a finished product. Like a question. The man with the tablet taps the screen once, then turns it outward. The display brightens. A call interface opens. Silent at first. Waiting. My phone vibrates again. I do not need to look this time. I already know what it is. The call is connecting. The assistant steps back, giving space without being told. The man with the cuff links watches the screen now, not us. That matters. The focus has moved. The music fades again. No one tries to bring it back. It would not fit. The screen flickers once. Then again. A face appears. Not clear at first. Just a silhouette against a brighter background. Then it sharpens. An older man. Calm. Still. Watching. He does not speak immediately. He looks at the room through the camera, taking in the distance, the lighting, the positioning. He sees everything that matters. Then his eyes settle on me. Not on Ethan. Not on the woman in silver. On me. Marcus, he says. My name lands differently this time. Not a question. Not a discovery. Recognition. I nod once. No more. The man's gaze shifts briefly to Ethan, then back to me. We receive the update, he continues. His voice is steady, controlled, used to rooms like this, even from a distance. And the disclosure. The woman in silver steps slightly forward, just enough to be seen clearly. We are aligning all documentation for full transparency, she says. Her tone is precise. No hesitation. The man watches her for a second, then looks back at me. And the protocol? He asks. The room tightens again. Not as sharply as before, but enough. I glance at Ethan, then at the woman in silver, then back at the screen. It is being addressed, I say. The man's eyes narrow slightly. Not in doubt. In focus. Being addressed is not a position, he replies. Simple. Direct. No room to hide behind it. Ethan shifts beside me, but he does not interrupt. That. Restraint holds. The woman in silver does not speak either. She lets it sit. I nod once. It will be removed, I say. The words are clear. Final. The room feels that. The assistant by the glass inhales quietly. The man with the cuff links lowers his gaze, then lifts it again. The man on the screen does not react immediately. He studies me for a second longer. Then he nods. Once. Small. Decisive. Then proceed, he says. The call does not end. It stays open. Watching. The room breathes again, but differently now. Not lighter. Not heavier. Just aware. Ethan exhales slowly. The woman in silver closes the folio again, this time with intent. The man with the tablet lowers the screen slightly, but keeps it active. My phone vibrates once more in my hand. A new line appears beneath the active call. Final board condition pending. I look at it, then back at the screen, then at Ethan, then at the room that no longer feels like a party at all. There is one more condition, I say quietly. The room does not react right away. It holds still, like everyone is waiting to hear if the word condition is small or something that will break the entire structure again. The man on the screen does not blink. His gaze stays fixed on me, steady, patient, like he already expects the answer to matter more than everything that came before. Ethan turns slightly toward me, not stepping in, just aligning himself with the moment. The woman in silver watches my face, not the phone, not the screen, reading the shift before it lands. I glance down at my phone again. The line remains there. Final board condition pending. No details. No explanation. Just a gate that has not opened yet. I lift my eyes back to the screen. The condition is not structural, I say. My voice stays even. That matters. The man on the screen tilts his head slightly. Interested now. Then what is it, he asks. Simple. Direct. The room leans in again, but quieter than before. Not curiosity this time. Anticipation. I let a second pass. Then another. Not to delay. To make sure it lands clean. It is procedural, I say. The word shifts the tone. Less about numbers. More about action. The woman in silver exhales softly, almost. Relieved, but not fully. She knows procedural can still cut deep. Ethan's eyes narrow slightly. He is already thinking ahead. Define it, he says. I nod once. Then I turn my gaze slightly, not to the screen, not to Ethan, but across the room. To the people who watched earlier. To the ones who laughed. To the ones who stayed silent. The assistant by the glass lowers her eyes for a second, then looks back up. The man with the cuff links shifts his weight again. I bring my focus back to the center. Before final confirmation, I say, there needs to be acknowledgment. The word hangs there. Light. But it carries farther than it should. The man on the screen does not react. He waits. Ethan's jaw tightens slightly. The woman in silver turns her head just enough to look at him, then back at me. Acknowledgement of what? She asks. Her tone is careful now. Not defensive. Precise. I glance down at my shirt for the first time in a while. The stain is still there. Dark. Set. It has not changed. I lift my hand slightly, brushing the edge of the fabric without trying to fix it. Of what happened in this room, I say. Quiet. Clear. No emphasis. No accusation. Just fact. The silence that follows is different from before. Not tension. Not confusion. Recognition. The assistant near the glass looks down again, this time longer. The man with the cuff links exhales slowly through his nose. The woman in silver does not move. She holds still, absorbing it. Ethan does not speak right away. He looks at me, then at the stain, then at the people around us. The ones who saw it, the ones who heard it, the ones who said nothing. The man on the screen shifts slightly in his seat. Is that necessary for execution? He asks. His tone is neutral, not dismissive, but not convinced yet. I meet his gaze. It is necessary for alignment, I say. The word lands differently. Not technical, not legal, human. The room feels it, even if they do not want to. The woman in silver closes her eyes for half a second, then opens them. Focused again. That is not a standard condition, she says. I nod once. Neither was what you removed, I reply. That connects the line. Clean. Direct. Ethan exhales slowly. Longer this time. He looks at the screen, then back at me, then at the room. He understands now. This is not about the deal anymore. Not entirely. The man on the screen studies him. Not speaking. Waiting. The decision is no longer abstract. It is visible. Immediate. Ethan straightens slightly. Not to reclaim control. To stand in it. What form of acknowledgement, he asks. His voice is steady. No hesitation now. That matters. I let the question sit for a second. Then I answer. Public, I say. The word lands heavier than anything before it. The assistant near the glass looks up sharply. The man with the cuff links blinks once, slower than usual. The woman in silver inhales, then exhales, controlled but deeper than before. The man on the screen leans back slightly, considering. Ethan does not look away this time. He holds my gaze. Then he nods. Once. Small, but clear. Then we do it, he says. The room shifts again. Not with tension, with consequence. The woman in silver turns toward the center, already preparing how it will be said. The man with the tablet adjusts the screen, keeping the call active. The assistant steps back, giving space. My phone vibrates again in my hand. A new line appears under the pending condition. Board response awaiting confirmation. I look at it, then back at the screen, then at Ethan. The air feels still again. Waiting. Go ahead, the man on the screen says. And all eyes turn to Ethan. Ethan does not move right away. The room holds him there, every eye fixed, every breath measured against what he will say next. The man on the screen watches without blinking. The woman in silver stands still beside him, but I can see the tension in her shoulders, the calculation already running through what this will cost and what it will repair. Ethan inhales slowly. Not sharp, not forced, controlled. He looks at me once, then at the stain on my shirt, then back at the room. The people who saw it, the people who heard it, the ones who laughed, the ones who stayed quiet. He steps forward, just enough to shift the center of attention fully onto him. The music has already faded. No one tries to bring it back. It would not survive this moment. Earlier, tonight, he says, his voice steady but lower than before. I made a decision in this room that was careless. The words land clean. No decoration. No softening. The assistant near the glass looks up, eyes wide, like she is hearing something she did not expect to hear out loud. The man with the cuff links does not look away. He listens. Ethan continues. I disrespected someone who was not only a guest here, but someone whose role in this process I failed to recognize. His gaze shifts toward me, not fully, just enough to include me in the statement without making it about performance. That matters. The woman in silver exhales slowly beside him, almost imperceptible, but I catch it. She knows this is the line that cannot be crossed halfway. It has to be complete. Ethan does not rush it. He lets the silence between sentences hold. Let the words settle into the room instead of bouncing off it. That was a mistake, he says. Simple. Direct. No excuse attached. The word mistake carries differently now. Not defensive. Not dismissive. Ownership. The man on the screen leans slightly forward, watching closer. The assistant shifts her weight again, but she does not look away. No one does. Ethan's posture changes subtly. Less rigid. More grounded. It does not reflect the standard we claim to operate under, he adds. The phrase is measured. Careful. But it holds. The woman in silver steps forward just half an inch, aligning herself with the statement without interrupting it. She does not speak yet. She lets it belong to him. Ethan glances at her for a fraction of a second, then back to the room. And it does not reflect how this partnership will move forward, he says. That line extends beyond the moment. It connects the apology to the structure. That matters more than the words themselves. I keep my position. I do not step forward. I do not step back. I let him carry it. The room absorbs it in pieces. A nod here. A shift there. The man with the cuff links lowers his gaze briefly, then raises it again, slower this time. The assistant presses her lips together, then relaxes them, like she is letting something settle. Ethan turns his head slightly toward me now. Fully this time. Not just a glance. A direct acknowledgment. Marcus, he says. My name lands again. Different from before. Not discovery. Not calculation. Recognition. I am responsible for what happened, he continues. And I am addressing it here. No apology word yet. Not the one people expect. That is intentional. The woman in silver finally speaks, her voice precise and aligned. We stand by that, she says. And we are committed to the correction that follows. She does not repeat him. She extends him. That matters. The man on the screen watches both of them now, not just Ethan. Measuring alignment. Measuring intent. The man with the tablet holds the device steady, but his grip has changed. Less tight. More balanced. The room feels it. The shift is not loud. It is not dramatic. But it is real. My phone vibrates once in my hand. I glance down briefly. Board response updated. The pending condition line shifts. Status. Under review. I lift my eyes back to Ethan. He holds my gaze. No smile. No mask. Just presence. That is new. That is what matters. The silence stretches for a second longer. Then the man on the screen nods once. Small. Decisive. Proceed, he says again. The word lands with more weight this time. Not permission. Confirmation. The woman in silver closes the folio with a soft, controlled motion. The sound is quiet, but it carries. The assistant steps back, giving space without being told. The man with the cuff links exhales slowly, like something inside him has shifted into place. Ethan does not move yet. He stands there, holding the moment just long enough to let it settle into the room. Then he steps back half a pace. Not retreating. Resetting. I slide my phone back into my pocket. The weight feels different again. Not lighter. Not heavier. Just aligned. I glance once more at the room. The faces. The posture. The space that has changed shape around a single moment. Then I look back at the screen. The man is still there. Watching. Waiting. The review is not finished. Not yet. And neither is this. The room does not return to what it was before. It settles into something else. Quieter. More precise. Every movement feels measured now, like people are aware of how they stand, how they speak, how they are seen. Ethan remains still for a moment after the screen's confirmation, then turns slightly toward the table. Not rushed. Not forced. Just continuing. The woman in silver mirrors him, her hand resting lightly on the folio again, not claiming it, just acknowledging its place in what comes next. The man with the tablet adjusts the angle of the display, keeping the call visible, the presence on the screen still watching. That matters. It keeps the room honest. I shift my weight slightly, the fabric of my shirt pulling against the dried stain, a reminder that the moment has not disappeared just because the words have been said. My phone vibrates again. I take it out without urgency this time. The update is subtle but final. Board condition, satisfied. The line settles into place beneath the review status. No highlight. No alert. Just confirmation. I look at it for a second, then lift my eyes back to the screen. The man there studies the room one last time. He nods once. Small. Decisive. Then the call ends. The screen goes dark. The reflection of the room replaces his face. The absence feels just as present as he was. The woman in silver closes the folio fully now. Not halfway. Not paused. Complete. The sound is soft, but it marks the shift. We proceed, she says, her voice steady, aligned with what has just been confirmed. Not asking. Not suggesting. Stating. Ethan nods once. We proceed. He echoes, but there is something different in the way he says it now. Less ownership. More alignment. The man with the cuff links steps closer again, but this time his posture is open, his tone measured. With full disclosure included, he adds. Not a challenge. A reinforcement. The woman in silver meets his gaze and nods. With full disclosure, she confirms. The assistant near the glass lowers her shoulders slightly, like a tension she did not know she was holding has finally eased. She does not speak. She does not need to. The room shifts again. Not dramatically. Not all at once. But enough. Conversations begin to return, slower, more careful. Not about what just happened. Not directly, but around it. Adjusting to it. A server passes again, this time steady, her tray balanced, her steps controlled. Someone takes a glass. Then another. The rhythm of the room begins to rebuild, but it is not the same rhythm as before. It is quieter, more aware. I slide my phone back into my pocket. The weight settles into something familiar again. Not heavy, not light, just there. Ethan looks at me once more. Not searching, not measuring, acknowledging. Thank you, he says. The words are simple. No performance behind them. I hold his gaze for a second, then nod once. Nothing more. The woman in silver turns slightly, already moving forward. We will circulate the updated documentation within the hour, she says to the nearest group. All partners will have access to the full structure. Her tone is precise, controlled, but now it carries something else. Credibility. The man with the tablet begins preparing the files, his fingers moving quickly, but without tension. The system is no longer resisting. It is aligning. The man with the cuff links nods again, slower this time, then steps back into the room, not away from it, but into it differently. The assistant turns to speak quietly to someone beside her, her voice low, but her posture steady. I take a step back from the table. Then another. Not retreating, just stepping out of the center. The space does not pull me back. It holds its shape. That matters. The chandelier light reflects off the glass, off the marble, off the edges of the room that has shifted without breaking. I glance once more at my shirt. The stain is still there. It has not faded. It will not. I smooth the edge of the fabric once, not to fix it, just to acknowledge it. Then I look up again. The room is moving now. Not like before. Not careless. Not loud. Something quieter. Something more deliberate. I turn toward the exit. No one stops me. No one calls out. They do not need to. The moment has already passed through them. I reach the door and pause for just a second, my hand resting on the handle. Behind me, the room continues. In front of me, the hallway waits, still and quiet. I do not look back. I open the door and step out into the silence beyond. And for the first time that night, nothing follows. The hallway is quiet in a way the room never was. The door closes behind me with a soft click, and the sound of the party fades into something distant, like it belongs to another place entirely. The air here is cooler, cleaner. It does not carry the weight of perfume or wine, just stillness. I take a few steps forward, my shoes echoing lightly against the polished floor. Each step feels separate, measured, like the night is finally giving space for things to settle. My hand brushes the front of my shirt again. The stain is still there, dark, set into the fabric. It catches the hallway light differently now, less sharp, more muted, but it has not disappeared. It will not. I do not try to fix it. I let my hand fall back to my side. Behind me, through the closed door, I can still feel the room moving. Not hear it clearly, just feel it. The shift, the adjustment, the way people will speak differently now, the way they will remember this night. Not for the deal, not for the numbers, for the moment that changed how they saw each other. I reach the end of the hallway where a tall window looks out over the city. The glass is cool when I rest my hand against it. Below, traffic moves in steady lines, headlights stretching into distance, unaware of anything that just happened above them. That is how it always works. The biggest shifts rarely make a sound outside the room where they begin. My phone vibrates once in my pocket. I take it out slowly. No urgency now. The screen lights up with a final update. Execution locked. Full disclosure confirmed. The words sit there. Clean. Complete. No more pending lines. No more conditions waiting to be met. I read it once. Then again. Not because I doubt it. Just to feel it settle. I slide the phone back into my pocket. The weight is steady. Familiar. Behind me, the door opens quietly. Not fast. Not abrupt. Just enough to let someone step through. I do not turn right away. I already know who it is. The footsteps are measured. Controlled. They stop a few feet behind me. Ethan does not speak immediately. He stands there for a second, letting the silence exist between us. That matters now. Then he steps closer, stopping beside me, but not too close. It is done, he says. His voice is lower here. No audience. No room to carry. Just the words. I nod once, looking out at the city. It is, I reply. He follows my gaze for a moment. The lights. The movement. The distance. You could have walked away, he says after a second. Not accusing, not questioning, just stating it. I consider that. The thought passes through clean. I almost did, I answer. Honest. No weight added to it. He exhales quietly. But you did not. I shake my head slightly. No, I say. Another pause settles in. Not uncomfortable. Just real. Ethan glances at my shirt again. The stain catches his eye like it did before. But this time there is no reaction behind it. Just recognition. I meant what I said, he adds. About making it right. I look down at the fabric once more. Then back out at the city. You already did what matters, I reply. The words are simple. They land without force. He nods once. Slow. Accepting that answer without trying to add to it. That is different from earlier. He understands now when to stop. We stand there for another moment. Not long. Just enough. The city continues below. The night moves forward. The room behind the door continues without us. But not the same way it started. Ethan shifts slightly, then steps back. Not leaving abruptly. Just stepping out of the moment. Good night, Marcus, he says. The words are steady. No performance. No need for one. I nod once. Good night, I reply. He turns and walks back toward the door. His steps are quieter now. Measured. When the door closes again, the hallway returns to stillness. I stay by the window for a second longer. Then I turn and walk toward the exit. No one stops me. No one calls my name. The building hums quietly around me, unaware of the shift that passed through one room and changed everything inside it. I reach the final door and push it open. The night air meets me again, cool and steady. I step outside, leaving the light behind. And the silence follows me this time.